My parents tried to give my renovated house to my brother because I'm single. They made one fatal mistake. My parents tried to hand my newly renovated 3-bedroom home to my older brother, claiming his kids needed it more because I was single. He strutted through my living room already planning changes like he owned the place. That's when I realized my own family had just declared war on me. Growing up, I was invisible in a house that revolved around my brother Nate. He got the car, the tuition, the applause. I mowed lawns and saved for community college while every holiday was a showcase of his new toys and failed entrepreneurship. When I finally bought my own house, a small 3-bedroom on a quiet street, I thought I'd escaped. My best friend Rick celebrated with me, but warned, they won't like you being free. He was right. Weeks later, Nate and his wife Karen showed up uninvited with their kids. Dropping muddy shoes on my rug, Karen smirked, eyeing my kitchen, and Nate said, "We'll need this space soon. The boys need a backyard." My stomach dropped, but I stayed quiet. That night, my parents called insisting I help family by moving out for a while. I gripped my Dodge Dart keys, the car I'd restored, with my own hands. My reminder of independence. Rick texted, "They're testing you, don't cave." The attack started small. Nate's son dragged a rock down the side of my restored Dodge Dart, leaving a white scar across the deep green paint. My chest went hollow. I confronted Nate, but he just shrugged. Boys will be boys. Days later, my fence gate was left open, trash scattered across my yard. I started saving every photo and video. Rick said, "They're pushing for you to snap, don't give them what they want." Then I found a for sale flyer taped to my front door with my address and Nate's phone number. My pulse pounded as neighbors asked if I was moving. That night, my parents called pretending to be confused, claiming they thought I was considering giving the house to family. For a second, I almost doubted myself. Rick reminded me, "They're setting the stage. Document everything. Stay quiet now, strike later." The next attack crossed the line. My bank called. Someone had tried to list my house as collateral for a loan. My name had been forged under my parents' signatures. I sat at my kitchen table breathing slowly, checking my security footage. There was Karen, slipping envelopes into my mailbox at night. Rage hardened into focus. I copied every document and planned a visit to the county clerk. This wasn't family drama anymore, it was fraud. Then Uncle Robert called with the smoking gun. He'd overheard my parents bragging about fixing the deed to make me leave quietly. He offered to testify. My hands shook as I realized the family split was complete blood versus truth. I met Rick that night, sliding a folder across the table. Photos. Footage, forged forms. He grinned. "They think you're still that quiet kid. Time to show them you're not." At the emergency family meeting, I arrived with Uncle Robert and a thick binder of proof. I laid out photos of the vandalism, bank records, copies of the forged loan attempt. My mother's voice cracked. Nate went pale. Rick leaned back and said, "Game over." For the first time, I felt the weight shift in my favor. Within weeks, restraining orders were filed and the loan attempt triggered a fraud investigation. Nate's business partners bailed. My parents avoided the neighborhood in shame. Uncle Robert visited, shaking my hand like an equal. Standing on my porch beside the Dodge Dart, I realized I hadn't lost a family. I'd finally chosen the one that mattered. Months later, I watched a moving truck haul my parents' furniture from their foreclosed house. Nate avoided eye contact from the sidewalk. I turned the key in my Dodge Dart and drove past without a word. Freedom didn't feel loud or vengeful, it was quiet, solid, and mine. The chain of obligation had finally broken, and I was the one holding the keys. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.